Not sure you can hear the construction outside, but it's literally right in front of my window. I'm just like looking at a construction site. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm doing something a little different. I feel like I got back into time, into like the old beauty vlogger days, but I'm getting ready to go meet a friend for lunch and to walk around a bit. But I thought I would film a little get ready with me since I have the time this morning. A few people have asked me about my skincare routine, and I did get a big haul of Korean skincare like a couple weeks ago, and I'm almost actually done some of the products, so I thought I would just share my thoughts on them as well. And at the same time, I'm going to chat to you guys about life, what I've been thinking recently, what's been going on, and a few updates, I guess. I don't know. I wrote a few points of what I wanted to talk about, but I'm just gonna go with the flow and see. So I'm gonna take out my glasses, but I'm not gonna be able to see properly. That's gonna be weird. Let me just clip my hair back first. I'm just gonna take out my glasses. And yep, I'm blind. So firstly, my face right now is really dry. So I usually use either this essence or the Causair RX Snail Mucin one. But because my skin is so dry right now, I'm going to put this down first on my skin just to kind of rehydrate it. So personally, for me, this mugwort essence, I don't see like a big effect from it. I feel like it's hydrating, but I also haven't used too much of it, so I don't want to say that, but I do feel like it's very hydrating and it's very soothing, but I don't know if I see any benefits on my skin. Whereas with the Snail Mucin essence, I actually do feel like when I use it, my skin's like a little brighter and it looks more hydrated. And then with the Snail Mucin, I'm just gonna put it on my face. I usually do 3 pumps, which is a little too much, but then I bring it down to my neck. So I rub it in on my forehead and then my cheeks. It's really hard to do a get ready with me talking because I feel like I'm not used to talking while I'm doing my skincare. And then next I'm going in with the Beauty of Joseon Glow Serum. Also quite popular. I think it does give you a nice glow. Overall, I just find all these Korean products really hydrating. I don't have too many skin issues. I'm looking for more products that brighten my skin. I need a mirror, don't I? Because I can't see anything. So you can kind of see on camera that it does give me like a nice glow on my face. Next, I'm going in with this Illayun cream. I obviously destroyed this. I'm almost done it, so I just go in with like that amount because I used to use a lot of it and it does all rub into the skin, but it just feels a little bit like a waste. Oh, actually I forgot to put on eye cream. Oh, I'll just put it on top. So I've been using this ice cream. Honestly, eye creams with me, I have really puffy under eyes. I don't really see a difference. It's good for hydration, especially since I put makeup under my eyes, so I keep applying it, but to be honest, I don't see a significant change with my dark circles since I use this eye cream. If anyone has like a good under eye circle eye cream they can recommend, that would be great, but this one's not too bad. It's like super hydrating, but I need like a little more than just hydration under my eyes. I need to, like I have dark circles and they're really poofy and they just never go away. It's not really about how much sleep I get. But that's basically my skincare done. Oh, sunscreen, kind of red. So I'm using the Beauty of Joseon sunscreen. It's raved about and it does live up to its hype, I think. So I just compared to other sunscreens, this one doesn't even feel like a sunscreen. It feels more like a moisturizer, and I can use a lot without getting that like greasy film feeling on my face that I would with other sunscreens. But when you use like the recommended 2-finger amount, it feels like a lot, but it rubs in. Okay, this is an issue where I can't see myself. I can't see where I'm rubbing. Cool. Okay, I promise I'll start actually chatting after I'm done with skincare. Because makeup doesn't need so much explanation, I feel like. But I mainly just wanted to catch you guys up on my life, what I'm thinking. I feel like I'm going through a very, I don't know, reflective period where I'm thinking about my future a lot more than before. I think before you know, as a typical overthinker, I always thought a lot about the things I want to do, but recently it's been like, what do you really want to do with your life? That's kind of the thoughts I've been having. And also want to update you guys on where I live now, how I'm feeling about living in London, and my plans going forward. But before that, let me prime my face for makeup. Actually, I'm gonna leave this for a minute to like settle in before I prime my face so that it can like dry down a bit. I'm actually gonna put in my contacts in the meantime so I can actually see what I'm looking at. I guess I'll talk about my physical plans of where I'm planning to be. So my current flat, I kind of am not loving it that much. I kind of want to move. So the area I'm in now, it's great. It's very family oriented, I feel like, the area. So the area I'm in now is really nice. There's a lot of families. It's definitely a little more of a posh area, but not like posh like Notting Hill posh, but I would say upper middle class. And right next to me is like a really cute coffee shop. Down the street there's like a row of like shops and restaurants and things like that, but there's not that many choices. It's very limited. It still feels very suburban, almost. Like, I don't know how to describe it, but like there's a lot of good things about the area too. Like, it's very quaint for everyday life. It's great. There's a big park. Hampstead Heath is nearby, so you know, by that you can get kind of the general area that I live. But I think one of the main things is I don't really love this flat. Like, it's okay. I think good size, good price, but because it's a bit oddly shaped and there's like only certain things I can do with it, I'm not like 100% satisfied with it. So I think in September or October I would be looking to move, and right now I'm sort of looking in either the West End, which is like Hackney, that area, or I'm looking at like the Notting Hill area, or like a little north of that, because that is where my office is and I do like that area a lot as well. But honestly, it's not really down to like whether I prefer one or the other. It's just if I can find a place that I like in either, because I'm not gonna move if it's not gonna be like at least as nice of a place as I currently am in right now. So I am looking into that. I also do just enjoy moving. I know like not everyone does, but I love moving. I think it's like something from when I was a kid and we used to move around a lot, but I like the feeling of like starting new and decorating a new place, and that now that I have some furniture, it's not as hard. The most tiring thing is like packing everything up, but you know, I don't mind that either. I find it like a chance for me to like get rid of old stuff and whatever. So I'm gonna prime my face now. I'm using the YSL Touche Chiclet, something like that. I wouldn't necessarily recommend this. Like, it's okay as a primer. I don't always use primer, but I do find my makeup is a little smoother when I use primer. But this one in particular, I don't think it delivers everything it promises in terms of like it has, you know, glowing properties. I would say I haven't used it yet, but the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter probably does a better job than this. But it's not a bad primer. It's just like, I don't know what I paid for it. I think I bought it during the Sephora sale, so not full price, but you can probably find a cheaper primer that does the same job. I would just say that this primer doesn't feel like there's a lot on the skin. It's very like lightweight compared to maybe other primers that feel like they're actually like clogging your pores, you know. And also for my future plans of staying in London, so I am most likely staying in London for at least another 3 years. Yeah, so my job is sponsoring my visa Nate, my partner, is also in med school for another 3 years, so we're definitely going to be here till then. And then after that, it sort of just depends on his job, because I'm so much more flexible. I can find marketing work anywhere, versus him, it kind of depends on like what residency program he gets into and things like that. But I think we are thinking of staying in London if he can, after he graduates, for at least like the short term after. So I'm definitely looking at staying in London for a long time. I always also did have it in my thought to move to Asia for a month or two. Like that's something I always wanted to do, and with remote work it's a little more possible. But yeah, there's a lot more logistics with that to figure out. So it's in the back of my head that I would do that at some point, but we'll see. Anyways, I am going to lay down my concealer. So normally I use the Tarte Shape Tape, but I'm actually running out. So I got this one in my last skincare haul, and it's pretty good. I definitely think it's not as high coverage, but today my eye circles are not that bad, so this should be enough. So I'm just gonna put it on like the very darkest part of my dark circle. And I have a lot of dark circles, so a little bit isn't gonna go for me. I need a lot of concealer. And I try to not put it too close to my actual eye, because then when I blend it, it's like super cakey up there, when I can just blend it up a bit. Yeah, something like that, and then I'll cover a few spots here and there. I also feel like the corners of my mouth are kind of dark, so there. And then it might seem kind of weird when there's no spots up here, but I do find that if I put concealer here, it makes a big difference in making my eyebrows seem cleaner. So I always put like a V up there, and then I have some blemishes here. So while that sits in, I'm actually gonna put on my foundation as well, because I found that it blends so much better if I do it at the same time. So this is my secret hack with my foundation that works wonders for me. I don't know if it's just me or it will work for everyone, but I mix some foundations together to create like, it makes like the perfect glowy matte base. So I mixed this Etude House BB cream and this Shiseido waterproof sports foundation. So I discovered this combo on vacation because I wanted to use, so I got this in a PR package way back when I used to do like Instagram influencing, and then Instagram influencing, oh I hate that. Anyway, content creator on Instagram that took sponsorships, whatever. But they sent me this, and at first time I used it, I felt it was a little dry. It dries like very like matte and hard because it's, you know, supposed to be waterproof. Like not hard, but there's definitely, it looks like there's a film, which you like the look of it, but it feels a bit dry almost. So I had an idea while I was on vacation to mix it with my BB cream, and it somehow works wonders where it becomes moisturizing but also waterproof and like, you know, very smoothing looking. Anyways, let me just show you guys. So I would just put a dot of it on my hand like so, and then basically what I do is I cover that dot with this. So it's not a lot, and then when I feel like I'm a little bit darker, I mix in a tiny drop of this Ordinary high coverage foundation. So the last time I got a lighter color in this, so I needed to adjust it with this, but now that this is a bit darker, I actually don't need to adjust it. I don't think this really matters in like me creating this concoction, but it definitely works for when I need to adjust for when my skin tone is darker versus lighter. And the great thing about these is that these two are both SPF 50. So not only do I have sunscreen, I also have this. And I don't reapply my sunscreen, so probably two layers of SPF 50 is good. So I just dot it on my face where there isn't makeup yet. Duh. My nose. And I just use my finger. And now I am going to use my Real Techniques Beauty Blender to blend it out. So I usually start with my concealer and I just tap away at it. And then tap, tap, tap on the rest of my face, just kind of blending in the foundation with the concealer. Because these spots, I'm not too like worried about them peeking through. I just kind of want an even coverage, so I'm just gonna mix it all in. And I'll go over the concealer spot just so the color is mixed in. On the side, tap, tap, tap. And then I take whatever's excess and try to get down my neck. Okay, now that I'm looking on it on camera, it looks like it's too light. I should have probably mixed in a dot of the Ordinary foundation. But once I like do my bronzer, everything, it kind of all evens out, so it's okay. Before I powder, I just wanted to like sit on my face for a bit and like dry before I put on any powder so it doesn't dry get around. I feel like at the moment I am going through like a quarter life, not a quarter life. This would be like 1/3 life crisis. I'm turning 28. I'm not quite 30, but I'm, you know, oh gosh, kick the camera. But I'm not quite 30, but I'm getting there. And you know, it makes you think about things like what do I really want in life? What do I want to achieve, you know, before I have kids or like start a family? What do I want to do? Things like that. And I'm like a big overthinker, so I'm definitely overthinking this as usual. And yeah, I have not reached a conclusion. It's weird. I feel like I'm still looking for what is my thing, if that makes sense. Like I still don't feel like I have a passion in the traditional sense, and I'm trying to accept that that's okay. Not everyone does, and I know it's like completely normal to not have that thing, but I guess I feel like for the past, you know, 10 years or so, I've been consciously trying to find that thing that I'm really good at, that's gonna be like my thing, the thing that I become, you know, a master at or whatever. And I feel like although it's been so many years and me consciously trying to do that, I still haven't quite found my thing, whether that be in like career or even with like content creation or any of the other things I do on the side. And I don't know if anyone else feels like that or I'm just being, but I feel like even to some degree when some people achieve that, they still feel like they're not good enough. Anyways, what I'm going to use now, I am using my Hourglass palette to set my eyes. So I'm going to use the setting powder, or the what is this, the finishing powder to set my eyes. So I just get some on the brush and I just lightly tap it underneath my eyes. I try not to drag because if the concealer's not like 100% dry, it tends to drag it and make it streaky. So I'm just gonna set some places lightly with this. And this is more for like really precision setting. I have a bigger palette, diffused light that I use to set my entire face. There's not really a rhyme or reason to this. I originally just used this, but I think because it's getting like kind of old, it's harder. It's not as good. I don't know what it is, but I'll rub my whole brush in there and then I will glide it over the rest of my face. And like, this is my favorite powder. It just kind of evens everything out. It gives a kind of really blurred look and it holds my makeup really well. So yeah, anyways, that was kind of heavy. But I feel like what I'm trying to do now is trying to chill out. I'm like stressing way too much about this kind of stuff for no reason at all. Like I feel like there's a lot of things in my life I want to do, but I can't exactly define them, and that kind of frustrates me sometimes, where I'm like, why am I not working towards this thing every single day kind of thing? But at the same time, I kind of don't know what I want. I don't know when this started where I'm like, I'm not 100% sure what I want anymore. Anyways, I am using the Hoola Benefit Bronzer, a classic. I'm just getting it on a little contour brush, and I am gonna contour my face. Yeah, I feel like I'm in that phase right now where I'm not particularly motivated in a lot of things I'm doing, even with like YouTube and stuff. I feel like I was really motivated at the beginning, or like really passionate about making aesthetic content and things like that, but recently I just feel like I personally have not been living up to my own expectations, and I don't really know what I want to go from there. But I am going to try to think less about it and just shoot and see what comes out of it. I feel like one of the reasons I've been not enjoying filming as much is because I'm overthinking it. So that's why I'm doing this video, to talk about my overthinking, but at least do this in a not overthinking way where I'm just like, yeah, I'm just gonna sit down and film a get ready with me. I don't know, am I even making sense right now? I don't even know what I'm talking about. I'm just blabbing now. Anyways, so I am in a phase now where I'm like, you know what, don't stress, just do what you want to do, and we'll see. Like, if the inspiration hits me, I'll do something else. But for now, I am just trying to live my life in London, and oh my god, that was too much. Blend it out. Live my life while I'm young and in London, travel, have fun, do whatever it is I want to do. Yeah. Anyways, let me know if you guys have any thoughts about this. Like, are you guys going through the same thing, or do you feel differently about, I don't know, where you are in life, what helps motivate you? Or maybe it's not even all about motivation. Maybe it's just like, how do you enjoy life? I do really enjoy the process of building something, which is why I start so many side projects. I feel like my endurance is lacking. I lose inspiration really fast, and like, I don't know. Anyways, I'm gonna chill. I am going to chill and just do whatever I want to do. That was a mess. Did I even say anything? Okay, what inspired me to make this video was actually, I saw this TikTok and I was trying to find it again. I thought I saved it, but apparently I didn't save it. Was this girl was talking about basically why Emma Chamberlain was so relatable, and she was an Asian girl, and she was basically saying how it's not really that, you know, her thoughts are super relatable, but it's more about how she says them, because throughout her life you can tell that she's grown up with a super loving family that always validated her feelings, and she has that confidence to say whatever it is that she wants to say. And like, not to put down like Asian parents, but I feel like a vast majority of them, I don't want to say a vast majority, but personally, and I have seen it with other families too, that when you're a child, your feelings are not validated. You're always like questioned, and like, if you don't think the same way as your parents, it's just wrong. So then you learn not to speak out about your feelings because, you know, you're used to being not validated. Like, your feelings are not being recuperated, if that makes sense. So anyways, I do feel like I have that tendency in myself where I'm like, I keep more in, because what's the point of saying it if, you know, people are gonna disagree, or like, I don't know. Yeah, even now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, I'm not quite sure what it is there, but there's something there about the way you're raised and how your feelings have been responded to as a child. To like, I'm not able to confidently say my feelings because I don't know if other people feel the same way, or if I'm the outlier, that kind of thing. So I'm doing this video to test the opposite. Like, do other people feel the same way as me, or is it just me? Anyways, I'm putting on blush. I'm using this MAC blush, which is also quite old. I tend to not buy new makeup unless I finish makeup, because, you know, I only use certain amount of makeup every single day. It's Warm Soul, a mineralized blush. So Warm Soul. And I have this Anyways, I am gonna put this on the top. And I love this blush because it just gives you a tiny flush of a coral pink. It's not too strong and it can really get in there. And I'm just using the same brush as my contour. I go over my nose to give, you know, that slightly blushing feeling. And there we go. I feel like one of the great things about moving to a new country is that you really get to self-reflect, and you know, you start to look at all the things that existed in your life before you moved, and you can like question and reevaluate them. So I think like one of the big things for me was friendships. So of course I naturally developed friendships while I was in school, and you know, you kind of take them for granted because they always exist in your life. And then when I came here, I didn't know anyone here besides Nate, and I basically had to start beginning, and it made me really question whether I needed friends. Like, of course I want friends, but at the same time I feel like it was like, am I making friends because I actually want to hang out with people and meet new people, or am I going out to make friends because I feel like I need to, or else I'm seen as like a loner basically. And part of that is like, I think a lot of people were asking me like, oh, do you know anyone here yet? Oh, how are you like making new friends? And I definitely am more of an introvert. Like, I'm perfectly happy doing things by myself. So like, it just made me question whether like, oh, am I going to try and make friends because I actually want to meet new people and connect with new people, or am I just trying because I think that's what I should be doing? It's very weird because I'm not trying to say like I don't want friends, right? I do want friends, and I really like the connections I have with my friends in Canada. But what I realized was like last summer I went on a lot of Bumble BFF dates with people. It's really hard for me to connect with someone when the goal is to make friends, you know, like you're meeting up and like it's almost like a date. You ask each other questions, you know, you're doing all these things, and it just feels not organic because you don't have anything in common. They don't know anything about you, you don't know anything about them. So yeah, for the first time when you meet, you have kind of a lot to talk about because you don't know anything about each other. But if you don't make a connection, or you don't make a date to meet again, or you know, you don't find a common interest where you're like, oh yeah, let's do that next weekend, it just kind of withers away because like I start overthinking. Like I go home and I'm like, okay, do I want to see this person again? If I do, what's like, you know, what's the amount of time to like text them? Like, do I need to see them every week to start this friendship and make it, you know, a lasting relationship? Whereas I feel like with my old friends, it's always like through school or through some kind of activity that you do regularly that you're kind of forced to be together. So it's definitely very different. So of course I still do want to make friends, but I think I'm not trying as hard because I have learned to accept that I don't need a lot of people in my life. I honestly just want to make 1 or 2 good friends, and a lot of people stress me out. Like the obligation to see and maintain relationships stress me out. And I think the reason my friends in Canada work so well with me is, one, this sounds bad, but they're the type that will reach out to me and they know, it's not like they know, and we built this trust where it's like, it's not that I'm not reaching out to them because I don't want to hang out with them. Whenever they want to hang out, I always want to hang out. But I feel shy to ask them out, or I feel like I'm interrupting them when they're asking out. And also, I just don't feel compelled to go out that often. So like, I don't always feel the need to be, like, I don't feel like I want to be making plans that much. So of course, when they make plans, I want to go. But then I don't always have the urge to make plans, if that makes sense. So like with my Canadian friends, I think we have this, you know, trust or like this kind of relationship already built. But with new people, I'm like, great, they don't really know me. They might think I don't want to hang out with them if I don't ask them out or like text constantly. That's like another thing. I don't really like to text that much, or like have long conversations through text. So in terms of friends, I really haven't really made any good friends in London yet, and it's been almost 2 years. Lucky for me, one of my old co-workers who I used to work with in Canada for like 4 years, she actually ended up moving to London, so I've been seeing her fairly regularly. And then with Nate also coming every weekend, I see him. Sometimes we go hang out with his friend, that kind of thing. So to me, that's already more than enough social interaction sometimes. But right now, for example, Nate's in Canada, so I do feel like I need like 1 or 2 people in my life. And also just regularly, sometimes when Nate is here, it's super convenient for us to just hang out, but sometimes like I do want to hang out with someone different, but because Nate's here, I don't feel that motivated to try to make to go out and try to meet new people, especially when Nate's already here. So anyways, I am doing my eyebrows. I'm using the Anastasia pomade, which I think is like out of fashion, but I just have been using it for so long. So I'm gonna shut up now because doing my eyebrows is so hard. So I'm gonna do... And then what I do is I put a little bit in here, and then I just kind of brush my brush back and forth in it, so I have like a really thin layer on the brush. And then I draw kind of the bottom outline first. And it's weird, but like when my brows are not plugged properly, I try to do it thinner than my actual brows. And I feel like it gives the illusion of like a cleaner brow. And that's about it for my brows. And then I use the Anastasia brow gel to just smooth it down. Okay, I'm like jumping around a lot, but next what I'm gonna do is just finish up my cheeks. So I'm gonna, from this Hourglass palette, I'm just gonna use the highlighter, and I'm just gonna highlight my cheeks right there. Sometimes I think my blush isn't enough, so I'll use the blush and I'll add a bit more. Bit more there. And what really gives me that pop on my cheek is, of course, the Becca champagne pop. I feel like I'm using like makeup from 2 years ago, like what was popular 2 years ago, but I just really don't buy new makeup that often unless I see something amazing, and I ran out of it, so I just do a little bit. It is very shiny, as you can see, so I just do a little bit on my cheeks and then on my eyebrows as well, and a little at the tip of my nose and a little on my chin. Voila. Voila. And now, before I do anything else, I am going to spray. Really, for me, setting spray I put on at random times. Sometimes I put it on before I powder my face. Sometimes I put it on at this stage. Sometimes I put it on after I've done everything. So I'm just gonna put it on now just to set everything. I'm using the Urban Decay All Nighter. And just for the areas under my eyes, I like to take the back of my beauty blender and just pat it in, so I make sure it's setting it smoothly. And now for my eyes. Okay, so for my eyes, I am using the Tartelette Toasted palette. And I use this color here all over my lid, and usually that's it. I just put this color all over my lid, and then I do a line with, okay, I'll just show you, but I'm gonna start off with just dipping my fingers into here and putting it all over my lid. what was I saying before? I kind of don't remember. How do people do this and have a continuous conversation? But anyways, that's how I'm feeling about making friends right now. I want to make them, but I'm also in the phase where I accepted who I am and that I'm okay with not having a lot of friends, and I don't want to just have friends, just say I have friends in London, you know? So I just want enough friends to have an adventure with, have good conversations with. So I'm just gonna let it come naturally instead of forcing it. Like if I feel like, oh, I really want to hang out with someone or meet someone new, I'll go on Bumble Friends. But right now I feel like I have enough. I have a few people in my life and it's okay for now, and if anyone new like comes along, that's great. If not, I'll just see. But yeah, I have read things where people say London is a lonely city, and I feel like it can be lonely, but it just depends on what, like if you wanted to meet other people, I think compared to a city like Toronto where a lot of people are lifelong friends, a lot of people here are new to the city, whether they're like from abroad or just from other parts of England. So there's tons of girls on Bumble BFF looking to make friends, and they're all really cool. Like it's not creepy. I feel like that's what some people's impression of Bumble BFFs is, that there's gonna be creepy people, but they're not. They're all like genuinely looking to make new friends, meet new people. So I would say it's like a great tool if you are like lonely in London and just want to meet new people. Yeah, so I put that over my eyes. It's very light, but for a day-to-day, that's what I like. And then I think what my hack is, I think someone commented asking if I had double eyelid surgery, and I haven't, but I also just have kind of like I don't know what it's called, not like, it's a bit hooded eyelid, so it folds in the middle. But what I like to do is actually accentuate the fold. So I'll dip it, so this palette, it fell on the ground and then some of the pans popped off and I put them back in a different place. But I'm using this color here, and it's actually supposed to be there, so it's called Cozy, I think, and it's like a burnt brown, reddish brown color. So what I do is I get it on this really small brush, and I'm just gonna line my fold and kind of brush it out. So and then I'll connect it where my eyeliner is gonna go as well. So it's like that. So I do this because I do think it makes it look like I have a deeper fold, and also it makes my eyes a little bit bigger, I think. So if you just compare, it kind of drags the shape of my eyes out a bit. And sometimes I just leave it like this and I don't put on eyeliner. I'm still debating. Maybe I'll put eyeliner, maybe I won't. But I'm just gonna do the other side now. And I just kind of follow the natural shape of the eyes. So like where the line wants to go. And I'll just connect it after. And then I'll take like a little bit and I'll put it at the bottom of my eye. Okay, cool. And now what I'm gonna do is just tight line underneath my eyes. But anyways, what I've been doing in the meantime is I've been doing a lot of things on my own. So I signed up for pottery class, and that's really fun and enjoyable. And it's something I always wanted to do, but I feel like I was kind of waiting for someone to do it with, whereas I'm just like, you know what, I'm just gonna do it myself. So I'm signing up for pottery class, and then I think, you know, after pottery class, I'll just keep trying to do things I always wanted to do but haven't started. So I've been wanting to get back into painting. I used to take art classes for like 10 years as a child doing acrylic painting, and I feel like I just totally dropped off from it, but I really love doing it, so I want to get back into that after. I also wanted to do more cooking, make kombucha and things like that, which I think I'm gonna do next week actually, so watch out for a vlog like that. I also kind of want to do something different with YouTube. I don't know what I want to do on here. I feel like I love editing, I love making videos, but sometimes I just feel like, am I really adding any value? What am I really doing here? I don't know. I love vlogging, but yeah, I really like vlogging, but I don't know. See, I'm probably overthinking this. I can't find my eyeliner in here, like my normal. Is this it? No. Okay, I guess I'm gonna have to go with black eyeliner. I usually use a brown eyeliner, but now I can't find it, so this black one it is. So I always try to do a really thin line, and then if I fuck up, I make it thicker, but if anything, you know, I want it to be thin. Oh, actually, before I do the eyeliner, I need to curl my lashes, or else it'll just end up on the eyeliner. So I just curl them a bit because I'm putting on falsies anyways. And I say a bit because I curl them a lot and then they just fall down immediately. Fun Asian lashes. Okay, real quiet time now for eyeliner. And that's about it. So what's great about the eyeshadow I put on earlier is I just kind of follow that line. The other eye. This eye is always the troublesome eye. Oh shit. Actually. See, I made this one too thick, now I have to make this one thicker. You know what? That's good enough today, I think. Alright, that's fine. I'm gonna leave it at that. Next for my eyelashes. So I always use these Ardell 110 blacks. I use them basically every day. I reuse one pair maybe like every 1 week, 2 week, because if you remove the glue and you're good at like maintaining them, they last a pretty long time. And now I'm just gonna remove the glue from it. This is just the glue from the package. I'm gonna remove it with some tweezers. But anyways, I feel like I've just been talking at you guys for, I don't know how long this is, but let me know what you guys are feeling. How are you guys? How's life? What are you guys up to? How are you guys feeling? I also been thinking about, you know, social media, because, well, I work in marketing, but I feel like my YouTube, the algorithm is not as good as before. I feel like I'm getting shown a lot of big company content, but not a lot of smaller creators. And I'm not even talking about small creators, like maybe under, you know, 500K or something like that. But I feel like I've been just shown a lot of big channels or highly produced content. And sometimes I'm like, I'm looking for the more authentic, more, you know, day-to-day live content, or, you know, smaller creators, and YouTube just hasn't been really recommending that to me. I guess, which says a lot for my channel as well, but yeah, it's just interesting. I also been like consuming a lot of TikTok, and I feel like it's part of my job, like my full-time job, and being on YouTube to, you know, produce short form content. But I just, it's so daunting for me to even try. I have like footage in my phone of when I try to do vlogging, but like TikTok style, and it's just been so daunting for me to edit it. Do you guys watch TikTok vlogs? Or like, I feel like I don't know, like, are the people who watch YouTube vlogs and the people who watch TikTok vlogs the same? And the same thing with shorts here on YouTube. I'm kind of like, should I be making shorts? I mean, if I can barely even put a TikTok together, I don't know. I post some reels on Instagram, but they're more like just vacation montages than actually, you know, produced with shorts in mind. So it's very, yeah, this whole short form video thing, I think it's here to stay, but I just feel like I'm not good at producing short form content. I did see a TikTok where a girl was like, you should just think about it as you know, you're posting Instagram stories. And I post a lot of Instagram stories, or I used to. Recently, not so much, but I used to post a lot. And I'm like, yeah, okay, that makes sense. But at the same time, it's not the same. That's the amount of thought that, like, picking audio, editing it a certain way, it's not the same as Instagram stories. Anyways, I'm overthinking it. And like, do people even watch shorts here on YouTube? I definitely don't. Even though I could, because I think a majority of the time I'm watching YouTube from my phone. But I feel like maybe because right now it's just repurposed TikTok content, and I feel like I can just get it on TikTok. But let me know if you guys do watch shorts. I'm thinking of doing a vlog, like a day, just in shorts and see how it does, but I filmed it and didn't edit it. Okay. So what I did, I removed the glue that was on it, and then I curled it slightly with my eyelash curler. Not the right glue, but okay. Okay, I got this random glue, but I much prefer the duo glue. I just can't find my duo glue right now. So I'm just gonna apply on here. What else can I word vomit at you guys? I also been going to the office a lot more, so I have less time to vlog, less time to edit, and yeah, because before my last job here in London, it was almost always remote, but now I go in at least 3 days a week, and I realized it's actually really tiring just because of also like, it takes me 40 minutes to get to work, so it's a big chunk of time that is gone. So yeah, definitely a little bit less time, but I still do really want to do it. But I'm trying to figure out kind of like a schedule that will work for me. Also, I think because of like me not being super motivated recently, the way I'm filming my clips makes it harder to edit to how I want it. So that is also a factor. So what I normally do is my eyelashes is I'll place the corner down where I wanted, which is a little bit from the edge, like quite a bit actually. And it's the worst when the glue sticks to your hand. Yeah, I place it a bit from the edge because it gets loose more easily when it's right in your inner corner because it gets wet. And then I will push it down. And voila. If I feel like they're not curly enough, I'll go back in and curl them. One down, next one. But I think like one of the things I realized when I vlogs is that, you know what, I don't do enough stuff. Or like, I know people kind of like the mundane life, but then sometimes, you know, you get tired of how, or like you don't know how to film it in an interesting way, or like that's what I'm feeling. So I feel like I need to do more stuff, but I don't do enough stuff. And I'm like, am I doing, you know, showing London, doing London justice? Because a lot of the people that follow me, I think, are people who either live in London or like want to move to London and they want to see what's going on, what's the lifestyle like. And I'm just like, I don't go out that much. I mean, I think I go out enough for me, but you know, I'm not like, see, I'm overthinking again. Anyways, I need to stop. I need to stop. Okay, eyelashes on and I'm pretty much done. For lips, I don't actually usually put on anything. I might put on this. Just on this random lip balm. And then let me find that new Korean one that I got. One sec. Alright, so somehow when I came back from finding my lipstick, I forgot to press record, or something happened with the footage, but it's gone. I did my hair after this, but seeing as how this video is already over 50 minutes long, maybe it's a good thing that the recording stopped. I'm sorry to abruptly end it here. This was my final look. If you guys want me to do a separate video on how I do my hair later, let me know. But thank you so much for listening to me rant, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye! Paint the night.